real world challenges we are facing on our everyday operations. Who doesn't like challenges, right? And challenge is actually what drives us, and challenge is what keeps us alive, I trust. So I'd like to pass around the microphone, and we can start from, we talked about challenges like bioplastics and all these education issues, but if we can elaborate a little more, then we will we have an exciting discussion. Then perhaps we can have a counterpart. The most important thing this morning I realized is that we are all on the same page. It's all about how we can coordinate and do it together in more harmony, right? Who would you like to start? Would you like to start?
If you, the challenges about the plastic issue in Thailand, I think as we are the Ministry of Environment, we try to not too much thinking about the conservative, that absolute zero plastic waste. The first phase of the plastic waste roadmap, we try to ban it, no more single-use item or something like that. That we found that it doesn't work, doesn't 100% work, because we still need to use the plastic. For example, the side street market or side street food, the non-poisonous, the uncontrollable. So if we ban plastic bag, ban this for we need for the food. So with the second phase of the plan, we think how to use properly, how to sustainable use. Because if we ban them, and then we will fighting with a very big business in Thailand. The plastic business is really big. So they can hit us by go to the cabinet. They won't agree to our plan that we block the economic growth. A lot of people will jobless or some kind of that. We have to be careful to do this kind of another the law, the quite strong measure that force the business to do something. But if they agree to do so, we can work well. This is the challenge that we have to walk with them, along with them. We're not conservative, zero plastic. It's impossible. We used to have the plastic bag, 10 plastic bags a day per person. We try to just reduce them, just 5 or 4 should be fine. Not absolutely so zero. That's impossible. That's a challenge in my opinion. Thank you.
For sure, I've been around the projects and the ideas of how to deal with plastic, and I think that there is an industry itself by selling ideas or projects or plans that never are alive, and there's a lot of money around as well, and it's impossible to go zero plastic. We depend on plastic. The problem is not the plastic again. The problem is how we use it. The problem is not how can I say? And the problem is the solution that we're trying to find for the problem, right? I mean, if we do bioplastics, for example, if we do mixed bioplastics, not 100% bioplastic like made of cassava or rice or something like that. It's like we're trying to hide a problem. When you break the plastic so small that you cannot see it, it's still there, right? There's microplastics that we eat, that we drink, that the fishes and the animals and everybody is consuming constantly. I think that one of the challenges is the awareness on the people, on knowing what is plastic, where is the plastic, what can we avoid, what can we don't, and what can be done after. For many people, the idea of the plastic responsibility is when you throw it in the right bin. But it doesn't matter if you throw 1 bottle per day or 500 kilos. You throw it to the bin and it's done. You did your job, and someone is going to deal with it. We need awareness. We need people to know what can be done, how can it be done, and it's good to have governments that they are supporting this idea, that they are aware of the problem. And it's really important what you said, that it's not only cut the plastic, because cut the plastic has an economical impact, has a lot of lobby inside in many countries, and the plastic industry is a big industry. So even if we don't go into crazy ideas about how the economy can be, the amount of people that can be without work if the plastic industry closes is huge. So we have to find little by little a change that can be implemented in a way that can be sustainable. Even the change has to be sustainable.
I think I agree with that we need to make these small steps, I guess, or incremental steps towards reducing, I would say maybe reducing unnecessary plastics. Rather than trying to ban all single-use plastics. I think this is the terminology now that people are using, is unnecessary plastics, right? So, like you were talking about this morning, the little plastic caps on top of the water bottles, plastic straws, and some of the things on the roadmap as well. I think those are the easy, low-hanging fruit which can be cut out. I think ultimately, though, like we're talking about as well, the lobbying power of these plastic companies is something that we need to really wrestle with. And maybe it can't just be an excuse for inaction. Like, if we're talking about climate change as well, just the fact that oil companies are lobbying our politicians should not be the excuse to say, oh, I guess we can't do anything about climate change. I guess we can't phase out fossil fuels. Job done. That's not possible. We don't have the time to be really diddling about whether we can lobby these fossil fuel companies to take action or not. I think the same has to be applied to these plastics companies. We just don't have the time to be debating whether we should be reducing single-use plastics or whether we should be investing in these new technologies. And I think if you look across the world, plastic bag bans and plastic bag charges, they have done an incredible job. If you look at the UK, where we put these 5p charges on plastic bags, equivalent to around 2 baht, those reduced plastic bag usage by 90%. In Australia, by 80% within 3 months. So they make a big difference. And also, countries like India, they have also implemented plastic bag bans and even single-use plastic bag bans as well across all types of plastic. So countries, big, small, rich and poor, can implement these changes. So I think that Thailand should be looking to almost be a leader in this sector and in this region, and shouldn't really be resting on the laurels that, yes, these companies, they basically have us in their pocket. So I think that's something that we really need to try and change the attitude amongst consumers, society, our policymakers, and also our corporates as well.
It's very nice and honest of you to mention that, because of the large industry existing in Thailand, it will be hard. It will hit the industry too hard if we want to ban all the plastic industry. It's very honest of you to say that, because it almost sounds like, okay, no, zero plastic is not possible and it's not the desirable as well. But it feels like a little bit you're trying to protect the industry itself. I thought our consensus was like we will want to reduce the production in the end, rather than supporting it as we are, because obviously it's the amount of production is increasing at the moment. What is your view from the government perspective?
Yeah, like I mentioned, that we used to think to ban or to go to the movement look like any other country like EU or something, but it doesn't work in the first plan.
You don't believe it's going to work like an
It's
EU?
not gonna work. But we ask for cooperation. It's work more than ban or something. So just now the second phase of the plan, we relax that the plastic used in this country should be not easy to be waste. Should be can reuse. Should can recycling. Should can, if you cannot recycling, you can waste energy, or you cannot waste energy, you should bio-compostable. That we try to set up the plastic products in there instead of we ban them some item or some single-use plastic. So how we do that? Because we have to talk with
They cannot hear you.
the plastic industry a lot. So that look like if we said no more single-use plastic, what about food delivery system? The side street, or they still need some. But of course, the big business like the hotel, or for example, the coffee shop like Starbucks or something, they're okay, no problem. The customers accept that. But the side street, we have the side street, the open market thing beside that, they still need this kind of thing. If we find we won't use this plastic or foam, and then what material we should use? The expensive cost, like you said, the material that is a kind of cannot find a solution. We just think what we can get is better than we do nothing. We just what we get, we maybe get the target 7 of them item, but we get 3, it's okay, fine now.
Yes.
Try to more relax on that, something like that.
I agree that it won't be a make or break, like it's not a black or white solution that we have to ban everything or we have to accept everything, but we should meet in the midway, that we want to make in a closing the circular loop, and we still want to, we will still admit that we will need some plastics in our food packagings, but to make it in a reusable way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right. For example, in our office, it's no more the foam container for the food. They just biodegradable containers, but more expensive. But we have to pay that.
Right.
Maybe 3 baht or something more. But in the government office, all of them, is it same as our office or not? I mean, we try to put that idea into another government office.
Right.
No more this kind of thing in office.
Okay, Nano?
I think that is unfair to put it on the government. Because the government can say whatever, but the companies are going to take the final decision. Our products, for example, are more expensive than the cheapest products that you can buy, that they are not sustainable. And as you said, the delivery service packaging, the sustainable one is more expensive than the plastic. So at the end of the day, the one that is choosing the plastic because of a cost is the company. So the companies are the ones that we have to work to change the mentality. That it's okay to make a little bit less bucks if you are actually helping. Because what they want, and I have this every day, is, yes, I want sustainability. Yes, I want to be environmental. I don't want to work extra. I don't want to have extra cost. Make me sustainable. And you're like, okay, I need more people to work. No, I don't want to spend money. Okay, your people has to work. No, they have enough work to do. So this idea of the government has to do it. Yes, of course, the laws and the regulations have to come in, but the companies are the ones. For example, there is a huge company worldwide that it was saying that they cut the production of the plastic 50% in 2022. Until 2022, most of the packaging that this company was doing was 100% HDPE and 100% PP. It was 100% recyclable. Now they changed it to multi-laminated plastic. It's 0% recyclable unless we take it, but in the world, nobody recycled that. So yes, they cut the production of plastic in half, but they add the production of garbage 100%. So And because it's cheaper. And they do it because it's cheaper, not because it's better for the environment. You understand? So if we don't change the idea of making more money is better and all the stuff that companies are based on, if we don't start having a more humane corporative mentality, we're never going to get to a sustainability or to a sustainable future. Even though even the governments push, even everybody's pushing, because the one that is in the middle and that is managing and is moving, as you say, is moving the economy, is the companies.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is where extended producer responsibility comes in, isn't it? It's making sure that the companies themselves actually bear the responsibility, they accept the accountability for their actions. So if it is a company that is changing its plastic content, they need to accept the environmental implications of that. And I don't know whether it is up to the consumers to hold the companies to account, or whether it's trade groups, environmental NGOs, companies like yours that can try to bring this to attention. But ultimately, who are these companies really going to listen to? Consumers often don't have a choice when they're sourcing their plastic products from big conglomerates and companies like we're discussing. So I wonder, like, how can we actually lobby these companies to try and change their attitudes? And whether it is just one government policy that implements EPR regulations for corporations across the world, is that going to be enough? Or does it need consumer groups to really stand up and start protesting, getting into the streets and really trying to take it to these companies to actually make some changes? But I think even EPR doesn't need to extend all the way to banning single-use plastics. It can also relate to changes to labeling, making the packaging clearer to make it easier to identify what kind of plastic or what kind of material it is. So what we were talking about this morning as well. So making sure that the consumers have the right information so they can make an informed decision, right, about consuming that plastic or that product. I think at the moment there's so much misinformation going about plastics and recycling. We see egg cartons today which say 100% recyclable, and there's no facility in Thailand that can take these plastics. And so this company is in effect just lying. I can't name the company, of course, but this company's getting away with it because consumers, they see this packaging and they get a warm, fuzzy feeling because they know that they can throw it into their recycling bin and it's going to get recycled. But sadly, that's not the case. It will be taken to landfill and continue contributing to this ongoing problem.
Like the bioplastic, the degradable plastic that, for example, in Vietnam, there was this wave of recyclable plastic or biodegradable plastic, right? And the biodegradable plastic bags has to be degraded in a facility specifically that helps to degrade the plastic. That doesn't exist in Vietnam. So everybody was like, so now what? Right? I do believe that this has to be tackled in different fronts. Projects or companies like ours need more people to be aware, to teach the people how, as Precious Plastic does, how we can start changing at home our garbage. And then you can take it as a social business, as we do. But it has to be also tackled by the implementation of laws by the government as well. And something that you say, Corey, that is true. You're the first minister that says things clear like that. and it's really useful to know the background. In Vietnam, they are applying EPR laws that whoever is creating plastic, they have to recycle at least 10%, and they're going to push it forward. And it's amazing. But then waste to energy is counted as recycling. So we have to see from both sides, from the user side, from the people side, and from the government side, when we can find a balance to find the best solution. to tackle the problem that is already there, okay, and it's the garbage that is already there, it's the garbage that we already made, because the first plastic that was created is still going around the globe, and then tackle from the government side how it's created, how more problem is added, right?
Yeah, just hello. Yeah, just a little bit to mention that we are checking the waste composition like 5 years ago. Maybe the plastic waste just 17, just now 29.
17 to
Yeah, 70% of the composition of the plastic in the waste. Yeah, 17 now 29. So we understand that it's a kind of COVID situation. People like to order things, and then the plastic company, they make very convenient to the customer. Whatever you want, you send the fork, the spoon, or something like that. When we asked this point to them, and then we said, look, we look like no option. When we order the food delivery, they give us full option, like this fork, spoon, blah, 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 everything plastic. We cannot select. We don't need this, and then yeah. That means they serve to the customer very well. But when we try to ban them or do this kind of thing to this business, they will say, let the customer to make the market change. We not interrupt the market. We should not. The government should not. So when we ask for the EPR, they will do their own way. They'll not ask to put them. Yeah, they said if customer don't need the frog, customer don't need the foam, yeah, we will not produce. They said that. Use the market way, use another way. Don't force them to not produce. Don't force them to cut off this kind of products, something like that. When we talk to them, they don't like EPR. They don't like the law that have EPR. They like to do it their own way. For example, the convenience store. If we said ban the plastic bag, they won't no. Okay. But if they said if the customer won't get the plastic bag, they will use the plastic bag value to donate to the temple. Whoever won't get the plastic bag, for example, they can reduce plastic bag 100 million a year, and how much cost for the plastic bag they will donate to the temple. They use those own way, but we cannot use the law said every department store, convenience stores, and then have to do not give the plastic bag to the people. Another department they said, if you won't get plastic bag, you get the point and bring those points to get the discount in the next time. They use their own way to do EPR, but they won't need the EPR law that no more plastic bag in the shopping malls or something like that, or no more in food delivery. They're very opposite us about this kind of thing. We have to along. Mostly we believe them to do change thing, the products or something. And they change because the people change, they say that. If people won't get this one anymore, like plastic bag, people said useless. That they will change to another product, and they plan 5 years. And in my slide, you can see that they change from the plastic bag or something, the products, to another durable thing like construction, plastic or some kind of thing. The business, they plan to change because they know that this is not long and sustainable their business anymore at all. In this plastic bag, they try to change to another product. But they won't just tell us. That.
I think change takes confidence, doesn't it? It needs bravery. And for the corporate sector, I think that equals money. And I think it's a shame that if there are any Thai companies listening in on this, it's a shame that there is not a market leader out there that is taking that leap forward, that brave leap forward, and trying to implement something that will change the environment for the better. I think that there's just too much of this onus, this blame game, blaming the customer, saying, oh, the customers are fighting back, they want their plastic bags, they want their styrofoam boxes. Ultimately, I think it's the companies, they need to take the plunge and step up to the game, really, and try to lead the way. And maybe there will be one company that will take take that mantle on. But up until this point, we haven't really seen that. A lot of these companies, they are quite content sitting on the sidelines and waiting for someone else to take that leap.
The superhero to come and save us, right? I have something a little story to tell. One of the biggest coffee shops, coffee chains in Vietnam, they came to us one time and say, we want to be sustainable. And they are the responsibles of a lot of plastic. So much that in social media they ask them, well, what do you do with the plastic? And they wanted to be sustainable. They wanted to do something to change the status quo and to change the mentality of the people. And we started doing a pilot of doing 4 stores of the coffee shop, teach them how to segregate it, collect all the plastic waste, all plastic, cartons, metals, glass, and then we take all the plastic and other people take the other recyclables and we recycle 100%. And it was okay in 5 stores. I mean, the cost is not that much. It's fun, it's good, you do it. But then you have to go to 50 stores, to 500 stores. And the cost went totally up. And of course, it's a company, right? So it's like, Nano, what are we doing here? It's around $30,000 per month just to try to be sustainable. And this company said, well, let's do it. And it's a huge investment. Investment for what? It can be used for marketing, can be used for whatever. But these people, what they want is to clean their country, is to clean the future. And it's a company. One. Is it one? As you said, you're waiting for the... And it's one. The rest, they don't want to put much money. They don't want to put money or whatever. But this company really believe, and the few people inside the company that made this project possible, they really believe that the future, and this is related to what you say, the client doesn't want to have a glass cup or a cup that you can break. The client wants things easy. They want the plastic cup with the plastic straw. Maybe the straw, no, maybe they change the straw. But the spoon is made of plastic and everything is easy to clean. Throw it to the garbage. So they know that they have to change it from themselves and they have to give an example. And this is something important that companies and projects are doing, are giving examples. Examples to people that they don't know what to do, examples to people that they don't know how to make a change. And we're saying there is something to do. Let's do it together, join us. You know? And I think that when the companies start doing that, when the big companies start doing that, when the iconic companies are doing that, it's going to be easier for the people to follow. Mm-hmm. But we need to wake up. We need to stop following. We need to start doing. Right?
Yes, yeah. But does anyone have on the floor have any examples of the leading companies in your countries or in Thailand? Yes? Comments?
Thank you. I would like to share because I'm also do the business in sustainable business and I set up this brand in Thailand. My products is from Thai research and now turn to the market. When I started this business, it's not easy because back to 6 years ago, in Thailand, it's not responsibility about a sustainable or BCG model. After that, 3 years and 4 years, when I run the business, the government just explored that the government until to 20-30 years is the policy government. And I would like to share about my problem with the government side. I understand both of you that we have the conflict. If for the government side, we're concerned about the business and concerned about the economic and less job people. But for me and for my experience, I would like to share if you get the client information about the next generation and in the future, they afford to buy. Even it's more expensive because compared with my products, I made the water hyacinth yarn because I would like to solve the problem liver environment, and I turned this weed to the fiber, and I let people in local community in the Northeast to make a hand woven by hand and dye by natural by the material in their city, and I let them like elder artisan that no job in that village, and try to build them, empower them to work again. And they will have a more higher income because normally they are over 70 years old. They no job. And now they think they have like a more value in their life. And when I get this information to a client, my products is more expensive than the market price, 200 or 300% is higher. But when I start this, now my products at Icon Siam as well in the 5th floor. And when I try to the event and let people, normally they said, why your products you so expensive? 80% Thai client not accept to buy, but I surprised for the like European or the country that afford to buy because they know the value of that. When I get for the market plan, how to let Thai people understand more, but it's quite slowly if compared with the foreigner. But right now, my client, Thai client, grown up, they accept to buy. Even when I talk, I just share one thing. Just last event, SX Sustainable in Queen's Liquid. When the Thai client accept my concept, they just would like to visit and touch how turn to water hyacinth fiber to fabric. When I let them understand, they said, okay, I would like to buy. Not only one, but I have a good business right now. Said, if for the government side, I just would like to share, if we still let the client choose, they will choose the thing that easy and cheaper. But the main thing, we must let them know in the future, because everybody, have a family, we have a son, we have a nephew, we have a baby to take care in the future. If, like for the government, don't want to support, I would like to share one thing. The government should give support for the sustainable business in Thailand, like get them in tax for the one who make a business about plastic, probably higher income, because so they make the price balance. So, and then I would like to share one thing that most important. The government should provide a program to responsibility, because Thai people, most of them, I think they concerned about environment, but now for government, less less on the program TV or something like this. Okay, thank you.
It's a comment for Kun Chaiya, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we do understand many dimensions of the plastic waste management, actually. But it's just not me to write down the plan or the policy to give to the minister. Yeah, many things, political issue. Yeah, we used to say like, is it the COVID situation? How come you have to let the people to buy the plastic bag? It increase the burden for the living life. But we have to try to say that actually the plastic bag is not free. They just make the picture that you give the free plastic bag to you, but actually they charge you in the product and services. Yeah, but political maybe don't understand that, make the burden to the people when you ban, do not give free the plastic bag to the customers. You have to buy it. Is it a burden to the people when something like that? We try to understand many things, talk closely to the private sector or the business about this. I talked to her also. So.
Okay, I can see the challenges in both sides here. Before we move on to the next question, we have a question from the online audience, but I'd like to give a little applause to the little big hero. We just mentioned we need a company like her, then we have it here. So let's give her a round of applause. Well done. And we have a question or comment from Nat Plastic Credit Exchange. It's hard to spell EPR scheme properly in Thailand from the government because government is too fearful from the business side. In fact, many companies are ready to tackle the crisis. Thai government have their power, but using it another way around to force the citizens. But the environmental side is always the last priority. Kudos. It's kind of another challenge, yes?
Exactly that. 10 years ago, we tried to push on the packaging, EPR on packaging. Mm-hmm. We're going to charge the packaging tax or fee on to the producer. You have to respond their packaging. We do decide how much charge to the plastic packaging, to the paper packaging, to the glass packaging, mm-hmm. and then we bring this kind of the measure to the cabinet to consider, and then this kind of packaging tax never go to the government. It was shut down by the shut down that the economy problem. You still charge the tax to the packaging waste, and then the tax will push into the customer, make trouble to the customer, and the business or the Thai federal industry quite big that they can say they can introduce that this is not good situation to do this kind of thing. This is the power of the business or power of things that we think we try to put the tax on the plastic. They may say it's not the good situation to do this time. Economy is going down. We are environmental conservation. If we do very strictly the rule or regulation, the development is going down. Business is going down. So we always conflict with the business, and then the business quite have a lot of big sound to the government. We are GDP or think the development is come from the business side, not come from the environmental side.
I think if we could go back to the discussion yesterday, that it's not that but rather than juxtaposing the environmental and the economy as they cannot go together. If we can make our environmental option more profitable and lucrative for the company, and especially when they think about the loss they are making by the inaction or by just pursuing their business as usual, it could be the way forward rather than, there's a conflict and we can't just let it, we can't just solve it, and in the end we just give up to the economies.
Yeah, like I told before that sooner or later they know that their business is not stable. Mm-hmm. They will try to cooperate with us. Like plastic, we talk about year 2000. It never happened to let them to reduce or change or do something about the plastic bag or thing that their business. But just like now, they came to us. They try to reduce. They said they reduce the production of the plastic bag 43%, reduce the foam container 20%. They know that this the world, the trend of the world is moved to. They know their business well. But if you fought them 20 years ago, they will not. They still, their business is okay. Sure. But just like now, they know that they cannot do the same business as usual at all. They have to change something, and then they have to do something more for the environment or for the society. Mm-hmm. So they try to adjust. But it takes time. It's almost 20 years to do that. So I think we will change in the future, but it's sometimes not now. A little bit slow in Thailand. I mean, you cannot use the law to force them, but they will do it themselves when the time comes, something like that. I mean,
when the time is right for them.
Yes. Any comments from the panel?
Just maybe on Nat's comment about the government being fearful and the environment side is always the last priority. I think maybe up until this point we have seen that, and even not just in Thailand but across the world, the environment has never really been a political issue that politicians are willing to stand for when they're running for election. But I think maybe we're reaching the cusp of that. We're reaching a watershed moment. So just recently we elected a new governor here in Bangkok, and when they did the exit polls about what was the main voter issue that people were concerned about, it was the environment. And that's never happened before in an election in Thailand, that the environment was actually even on the ticket as one of the voter issues. But it was the top issue. And I think that's probably a game changer. And hopefully that will inspire future politicians, political parties to understand and appreciate that the environmental issues are a concern and they do need to have equal spacing and weighting when they go to, when they get up for re-election.
That's a happy thought. Yes, yeah.
I had a chance to talk with a politician in Argentina, in my country, and he was telling me something that I kept in my mind 20 years already. He said, the freedom that the citizens have to take decisions is something that I admire and I envy. Because as a politician, I don't have freedom to take decisions on my job or what I want to do or when I want to do it. Because it's totally connected with so many other things within the government, within the economy, within international politics, that everything that you can do that you want to do as a politician takes a lot of time. Said this, I applaud and I respect your initiative because this is how we change the world. We don't wait. Governments take time. Governments have their steps and the bureaucracy. We don't. We start today. And we can help the government, teach the government, show the government how things can be done if you get together. And that is the main problem that, maybe I get too deep on this, but society has today, that we are so isolated from each other. And we think that the solution has to come from someone else, when the solution has to come from ourselves. We bring the solution. We, when we get together, make a bigger solution. Companies like yours, yes, have to be helped by the government, but mainly has to be helped by the people around you. Because you are helping people. And we help and we get helped. This is how it has to work. So I do understand the debate about what the government has to do, what the companies have to do, but they have their agendas. And we have to have ours. As people, we have to start getting together and work towards our future. Because whatever president in whatever country decide is not for me, it's for their future. So let's start changing us, you know? And these kind of companies are incredible. These kind of projects are incredible. The initiatives that we have, that is not to make money out of it, is to be sustainable financially. When everything started, when everybody started talking about the CO2 and the climate change and everything, there are people that are making money selling the offset of CO2, right? And they say that it's sustainable, as it's environmental, and it's terrible. You are making money on selling the CO2 that I create and maybe that you create, and it's incredible. They are business. They come from things that you cannot believe it. We are inventive. We have the creativity. Let's start using that for good, and it's up to us.
Yes, comments? Anna?
I think that, you know, it seems to really boil down a lot to money. I mean, money drives things. I've also heard a lot of, you know, the other Thai sustainability activists say that in Thailand it's a huge issue that, you know, to label the plastic for recycling, even that is not done here because, you know, there's pushback from businesses against the government when politicians try to, you know, implement such things. They don't get voted for because they don't get the money that they need to support them. My question is, what do you think about consumer boycotts? Like, for example, if the consumer can find, you know, where along the whole process that the companies are getting money and then like push back on those spots, you know, wherever the margins are really low, to pressure the companies to change their behavior. Like, you know, I feel like we don't have that many boycotts in Thailand, but most of them are politically motivated, like very political, on the political side. Like, for example, you know, there's been several boycotts, but not on the environmental side. So do you have any comments, any good examples of consumer boycotts, or do you think that's something that would be effective in Thailand or even, you know, like Vietnam?
I think that my answer wouldn't be nice. I do believe that we as consumers can do a lot of things, but we need to get together. We need to get aware of what we can do. And we go to the same basic problem. To do a boycott, you have to work together. Because if you do a boycott, like I always find funny in a sad way, when I don't buy a bag, and I said, is my sand a little piece of sand that is going to make the world, and then 10,000 people beside me are buying the bags. One bag is not going to change the company or anything, you understand? But what I can do is talk to those 10,000 people before they buy the bags, understand why am I doing it, and if 100 join, that's a change. Because it's not how you try to make the change, it's how many people is connected doing the change. So it's communication, is awareness, and is realizing that the change comes from us together, not from me alone not buying a bag. It's for all of us not buying a bag.
For sure, thanks. I think if we can just find the places where the margins are really low and just push those buttons, companies will suffer.
Yeah, when we think about the technical to manage the waste, we think about the producer, the consumer, and the waste disposal authority. So in Thailand, maybe the end of pipe, the local authority, they state by law that they are responsibility to manage the waste. So the consumer may just dump it, and pay the money to the local authority. And the producer said they didn't produce the waste. The consumer produced the waste and pay the money to the local authority. So a long time, 10 years, 50 years, enterprise management in Thailand doesn't work because no corporation, consumer, and producer. And we try to push the producer responsibility to like the Europe or other countries, but doesn't work. Like I say, they control the economy or something. What change we have? Like I in my slide that we are number 6 of the world that dumping, and we are those very popular dugong, the Mariam one. Very sadness for Thai people that we found the plastic bag in her stomach. We try to save her for 100 days, but doesn't work. People very angry about the plastic, and the plastic company, they get sent that. They came to our ministry, they said, we are not the bad guy. We try to do something. You need that big change sometimes. So people very angry that why this kind of animal have to die. You know, it look like the social media, they're watching every day we save her, but doesn't work when there are lots of plastic in her stomach. So the plastic bag is a kind of the company, the business, the big one, they cannot stay at all. They said have to do something. Because if people get more about their business, they're not the sustainable. They try to change the products. They try to come that help what we can do. But 10 years, 70 years ago, you cannot talk about it with them. This is that happen in this country. There's a kind of share some knowledge or something.
I think it's also it's also quite disappointing as well that Thailand has delayed the ban on the import of plastic waste for another 5 years. So it probably means, hundreds of tons more plastic waste will come in over the next, 5 years. So I think, it would be wonderful if there's more policy as well for the systemic change, but I fully understand that it needs to come from both sides.
I want to say 2 things. First is that in the conversation is who's responsible, who's the one to blame. Oh, the government. No, the government has to do. No, the consumer. No, the companies. The problem is that we're looking who to point to instead of realizing our responsibility in the chain. All of us, we are responsible. Government, companies, and consumers. And I want to tell you one thing about that. Because in Vietnam, they cut the import of plastic waste. And I have this idea, right? What if, because I'm from Argentina. Argentina, same as Thailand, same as Vietnam. We sell wheat, we buy bread. We sell petroleum, we buy gas, right? So we sell by 10, we buy by 100. What if we take all that plastic, we process, they pay us to get the plastic, right? Then we process, we make amazing furniture, amazing products, and then we sell it back to the people that send us the plastic for 100. It's not that empowering the people, empowering a country, a developing country from the third world, that we're finding a way to take their garbage, produce something amazing, and then sell it to them. Isn't that incredible? That's what we have to be focused on, instead of fighting. We cannot stop the wave coming out to us, but we can have fun with it, all right?
And we confirm again, we have a lot of questions that if we didn't done this water bottom, who responsible for that? The informal sector to recycle, or local authority, or the consumer, or the producer? We always discuss about this kind of thing. Who responds for this? It's a product, it's fine, but for when after you done this package. About the plastic waste import, maybe we just don't want the Thailand to be the accept the garbage from another country, but I think the recyclable material should be okay, should be fine, but not the garbage, not the waste. Sometimes they illegal to claim that the paper, this is plastic, recyclable thing, but when we open the container, it's the waste, something like that. Of course, sure, the waste cannot come in this country, just only recyclable some items only. Because, for example, the very good quality paper we don't have in this country, we have to order from others to make the high quality paper. something like that, where we still need that, but not the waste. I guarantee that we don't the waste. They don't want the waste into the country.
Ajoni?
Thank you very much. I want to introduce myself because it is connected to the question that I want to raise. My name is Adani Ajoni. I'm from India. I have my undergrad and master's and PhD in environmental engineering. I teach environmental engineering to undergrads, masters. But I think it's a shame to admit that I am completely ignorant about bioplastics. I introduced myself to make that point that I'm sure there must be a lot of other people who are ignorant about this aspect. And I thank particularly Dominic for that insightful presentation. Now my question is now, and also, yes, briefly I had also worked in the Indian Bureau of Indian Standards, which makes standards of qualities and labelings and all. And as far as I'm aware of it, I think we do not have proper regulations for labeling these so-called bioproducts or synthetic products and so on. So I wanted to know what are the practices in other countries as well as maybe in Thailand. I wanted to ask this question during this discussion when Chaiya is also here, about how can we improve this consumer awareness about, for example, the so-called biodegradable or bioproducts. And so I think often as a consumer, we tend to equate biodegradable and bioplastic as biodegradable. So I think that's the exact aim of these companies to mislead the people. So what are the ways and how do we start about this one? What are the examples maybe across the world in improving this labeling system and maybe some putting some regulations about this labeling, and particularly from the standards point of view, because I'm related to the Bureau of Indian Standards as well. Thank you.
Anyone want to make a comment about bioplastic issues?
Yeah, in Thailand, as we know, the 100% chemical plastic is the rule, the system, the market system. We try to promote the biodegradable plastic also. Yeah. One thing that we can do that in the national park, you cannot bring the plastic or thing inside, but biodegradable is okay. We try to promote them the market, try to support them that what market you can, what products you can use. Because, for example, you plastic bag that for the composting, you use that, produce that bag and then put the organics or the food waste inside and then go to the composting. Those kind of products, we will promote that. But other like plastic bag, shopping bag or something, they may have limitation that cannot keep for long for the biodegradable. They will automatic melt or destroy themselves when you put the product it's broken. We try to go to BOI to say that biodegradable we should support. And then the BOI, Board of Investment in Thailand, they said, what the definition of biodegradable? How? A lot of specs we have to stamp for that. This is biodegradable. It's under landfill size, under the chemical, under the sunlight or something like that. They still, yeah, we try to do many ways, but mostly we try to promote the product that can be decomposable, like plastic bag or plastic garbage for the composting, or go into the national park, use biodegradable, the government office use biodegradable. Yeah, we try to promote that products. Yeah.
I'd say that internationally, though, we are struggling with this issue. because it is a relatively new technology. Maybe it has been around for 5 years in testing and really only just coming to the market. So I think even in the EU, UK, US, there are plans to improve the standards for labeling, but they haven't reached market yet. So I think at the moment, the bioplastics products that we see on the market, they are slipping through almost this loophole. So they are putting these labels like compostable, biodegradable on without fully testing or having tested in the lab under ideal conditions where they grind up the plastic into tiny little flakes, put it under maybe 60 degrees heat, lovely bit of humidity in there as well, and it biodegrades within a couple of weeks. It's perfect. But they're not actually testing a real-world plastic bottle, plastic cup, plastic straw. So I think these kinds of mislabeling issues are only going to keep on proliferating around the world. I think Thailand is just starting to see it. Like, you'll go to a convenience store just around the corner and you'll get the biocompostable cutlery, and it's got all these lovely green shoots on the packaging. It looks fantastic. And you use that and you think, oh yeah, I can throw that in my compost bin. It's just not the case. I think in Australia they may be trying to get consumer awareness improved about this through better labeling, but yeah, it's still very, very early days.
And as a recycler, and I think that you understand this as well, biodegradable plastic is terrible because degrade the other plastic. So as a recycler, you cannot recycle because the product that you do with that plastic is terrible. I had a conversation with the biodegradable plastic company, and I was telling them, go back to normal LDPE, please. We want that because that can be recycled over and over and over again. Bioplastics are like, what do I do? I cannot recycle, I cannot throw it. That is a problem, not the plastic. The things in between. Now we have to find, we're going to do a precious bioplastic now.
Because you can't put bioplastics into your machine, right?
I put bioplastics, but the quality and the durability of the products go from 50 years to 3 or 1 or 6 months because the plastic is terrible and it has so, and another thing, it has so much chemicals inside to be able to be biodegradable that if we see what we win and what we lose, let's go back to NDP. Let's make normal bags. Let's just get them back, yeah, reuse it until they break, and when they break, give it to someone that can recycle. And as a recycler, the last thing that I want to say is people don't believe in labels because all the labels that we see, we are not sure if they are right, they are wrong, they are how they have to be. What people believe now is to see, when you show what you do, how you do it, how you transform from one side to the other, how the bag is biodegraded, then yes, people are going to start believing in labels. We lost the ability of belief.
It's been a very insightful and exciting talk that I feel like we can go forever and ever. But for the interest of time, we have to wrap up here. I'd like to wrap up this session. We talked about all sorts of challenges and problems, but the future hopes as well. So should I just go around just by giving one or two sentences about the ideal future of plastics in your mind? Like say in 10 years' time, like what will be the ideal future with the plastics in? Would you like to start, Nano? You look blank.
I was thinking.
Yes. In 10 years, what will be the ideal future of plastics? Where do you see yourself with the plastics?
I mean, we have the idea, but we have the reality.
Mm-hmm. You're as an idealist.
As an idealist, what I would say is I would love to see awareness and commitment by the people.
Thank you.
I'd like to see companies taking responsibility for the waste that they're creating and the carbon emissions that they're emitting as well. So ultimately, EPR, less plastic being generated in general across the board, and alternatives to plastic being used more frequently.
Thank you.
I have many ways to take care of, like food waste, packaging, SDG, greenhouse gas, or something like plastic is one of them that like EPR or something we need to see. I mean that in the survey, if Thai people use 10 plastic bags per day, I would like to see they just use just half, 5 or 3 or 4. The kind of business and environment can go together. Hope this kind of thing will happen here. We don't need to ban them or zero or something like that because it affects too many dimensions of the aspects.
Thank you very much. Like we are planning to have another workshop in a year time like this. Then that is fantastic to see the changes. To have another opportunity to share the changes we've seen from now until then. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.